What's up, guys? Kelly McKay here, aka HVAC Millionaire, right here on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, hit the like button, and leave me a comment below. I want to talk about a concept that I recently read from The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's a book that I tried to read years ago. I think I made it about halfway through it, and I just couldn't finish it. Well, I've learned so much since then that a lot of the concepts and the way it's written is kind of hard to read, but it's making a lot more sense to me now, just because I've read a lot of different things and I've learned a lot since then. But one thing that I came across that I vaguely remember reading years ago is this concept of being dependent. So there's 3 stages, basically, right? So when we're born, we are completely dependent. We depend on somebody to take care of us, somebody to change our diapers and to feed us and to, put us in our PJs and lay us in our crib, and just completely dependent on other people. And without that, we're going to suffer. Like we're not going to make it, probably, because we truly rely on these other people to help us survive. And then eventually, as we get older, we move into independence. Usually in the teenage years, people start feeling like they are more independent and they want to be more independent. And a lot of times, as you get a little older, you maybe move away from home to be independent. And sometimes that doesn't always work out. Sometimes you got to move back to home and be a little bit dependent again. As you've grown up, you're not fully dependent. You've got a little bit of independence. You can make your own choices now, but you still need help sometimes. And then eventually, if you get into a situation where you're thriving, what you'll find is that it's the 3rd stage. People who thrive make it to the 3rd stage, which is interdependent. So the way I like to think of it is like an ecosystem. Think of like an ecosystem. You've got the algae, you've got the reptiles and water, a water source of some kind. You've got all this stuff, and then the animals, and they all, this ecosystem works together to sustain life, if you will, or to make this environment thrive. Well, that's what happens with businesses who figure out how to manage people, figure out how to make sure that those people feel appreciated, and you become interdependent. And you're interdependent anyways because you're relying also on the supply house. You wind up getting in partnerships with those people. So there's dependent, where you need other people's help. There's independent, where you're by yourself. And then there's interdependent, where everybody chips in and everybody helps so that you can thrive and you can form that ecosystem, kind of your own ecosystem. So when it comes to business, this is where it really made sense to me and related to business, is that a lot of times when we go out on our own, so we work for somebody, we are dependent to some degree. I mean, we've reached a certain level of maturity with our skill set in order to be able to, go out in a van and do our own thing, or truck, whatever you drive. But you still rely on somebody to write your paycheck, somebody to bring you customers, somebody to, provide insurance for you, all these things that you just depend on somebody else to do. And then when you decide you're going to start a business, you turn independent. And so oftentimes what happens, because the failure rate of businesses is so high, that people wind up going back to dependence, right? But for the few who are willing to grind it out and make it happen, not accept no for an answer when it comes to their success, and they're willing to do what's necessary to get the job done. You can be independent for a while. But if you want to grow the business, if you want the business to thrive, it's going to take other people. And adding other people, we've got to find this way to work together as one unit, helping each other, get to something, grow something that we will never be able to grow by ourselves. So the people who actually grow a business, they become interdependent. That's the difference. The people who don't grow a business, they stay independent, where everything relies on them. So you have to make the choice. What do you want to do? You can stay independent, and if you manage your money properly, I'm telling you, and you've got certain foundational pieces in place, you can make a lot of money and retire early. There is no question about that. But you're going to have maybe a little more stress. You're going to have a little more responsibilities to handle for many years until you become completely independent, of needing a job. But a faster way to do it typically is to become interdependent and have other people help you. That way, you don't have to sacrifice all your free time, possibly your health, if you're not taking care of yourself because the business is stressful. You don't have so many things on your plate, so you're not juggling things all the time. And that's the beauty of interdependence. So think about what type of business you want to be. You can be any business you want. It's entirely up to you. It's kind of like when you're dreaming about what you want out of life. I'm a huge advocate for dreaming whatever it is that you want. Don't let society dictate what success is to you. Success is your choice, your decision. And so whatever success looks like to you, that's awesome. Like, you can have it. If you work hard enough, if you do the right things, you can definitely have it. Whether that's, I always say, like, whether it's living in a cabin by yourself in the woods and being independent, or if it's growing a business and being interdependent, where you get a collection of people that all are fighting for the same thing, trying to win in the economy, in the marketplace. So you decide whatever you want to do, but it's whatever your dream is. So that's the main thing. Know what you want, figure it out, take some time. Take some time later today to just think. Thinking is like the number one skill that nobody likes to do, because we have so many distractions in our lives, so many people vying for our attention, customers, employees, family. So you've got to cut out some time, even if you have to get up early in the morning. Cut out some time, spend some time with yourself, and ask yourself the question, what do I want? You already know. I promise you it's in there. But you got to stop and think about it for a moment and just truly think about, what do you want? What do you want your life to look like? What do you want it to feel like? Even more important, what does it look like, but what does it feel like? Think about this. Write down your answers and then think about ways that you can actually make that happen. What would be the first step? You don't have to know. You don't have to be able to see the entire journey ahead of you. But you can think of one step that would get you a little bit closer. Maybe it's a skill that you don't currently have. Maybe it's coaching that you need. By the way, the HVAC Accelerator Challenge is starting next week. You're running out of time. Don't miss this. Take the time, put it in your schedule, grab a ticket, and see us on the challenge. So, and decide, do you want to be dependent on somebody else? Do you want to become independent in your business? Or do you want to become interdependent? It's entirely up to you. And it's whatever's right for you. So, you decide, make some decisions, take some time to think about it, and go make money. Boom.